Welcome to the worst of the best podcast. You wanted the best. Well, they didn't freaking make it. So here's what you get. From Canada, Ryan and
Jason. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Worst of the Best podcast. I'm your host, Ryan. With me, of course, or I should say, welcome back. Everyone, welcome back. Jason, he missed the last couple episodes due to his trip. Jason, welcome back.
Thank you very much. Good to be back. Yeah, sorry, our schedules didn't line up for a couple weeks there, but happy to be back.
No, it's all good. No, it's good to have you back, and you survived your valley trip and your desert and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I kind of had two places that I wanted to visit. I went to Monument Valley, then I went to Death Valley.
Nice.
Those are the two main locations, and I did a few things in between those two locations because they're quite a distance apart. Just road trip down for a couple weeks and enjoyed my time in the desert.
Nice. We did get one message, Jason, while you were gone regarding our...
Okay.
I also just want to apologize to our listeners for my voice and nasally sounding voice. Maybe it's more nasally or irritating than usual. Just got over a cold. I was coughing for a couple of weeks, but mixed with that cold, I got seasonal allergies. I'll try to get sniffles off the mic and what have you and coughing, but I asked for your patience. So, Jay, we did get one feedback here regarding our REM show. I don't know if you got a chance to see that.
Actually, you know what our mom said?
What did she say?
She said that was her best one ever.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Mom. That's one viewer. We appreciate that.
That was one. And then somebody else mentioned that they quite enjoyed the podcast. And, REM is one of their more favorite bands and enjoyed our breakdown of the albums.
Cool. So, yeah, Jay, I got this message from, I think it's a new listener to our podcast. Her name is Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie, for listening to the show. She goes, okay, I listened to your REM podcast. And I'm not just saying this to agree with Jason. I guess she's on your side with this, Jay. But she said, but I've always fast forwarded King of Comedy. Never liked that one on the album. Wow. That's amazing. I'm legitimately surprised by people's feeling on that song. So I think that was your worst pick, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And she always skips it or fast forward. She sounds like she's old like us. She uses the term
from our generation anyways.
Yeah. She goes on to say, I actually really like Bang and Blame. Sorry, Ryan. I don't know if I like the cut of the jib of this young individual. She goes on to say, my only critique is when you choose your final worst songs of the best, play a snippet again, because people like me forget the titles of some of the songs, but know the songs if we hear them. Oh, I see. That's a good point. Yeah, fair enough.
That is a very valid suggestion, actually.
Yeah. And she ends with, enjoyed learning about the album more, and well done. Well, thanks, Stephanie. Thanks for listening. And I think if and when, there will be a time, it's not near the near future, but Jason and I will tackle another album. They're the most work, and maybe that's why our mom and Stephanie might have enjoyed them. I admit they are the most work, which might mean the best quality of podcast.
You're saying that they're the best of the worst?
They're the best of the worst, yes, probably. And they are fun to do because it's get to listen to music. It's kind of like memory lane a little bit because, we pick albums that we personally enjoy as well, things that we can easily speak to. But I just want to make another show note here before we kick off today's episode. Just because of my work schedule and other things in my life, we're looking at probably 2 episodes a month, every second week. And that's pretty common for a lot of podcasts. And weekly is tough for the editing and things that are on my plate. So when we can do weekly, we will. Our goal is to get, that's 26, 30 episodes a year. So it's pretty good. Hope everyone's okay with that. And with that, Jay, we're going to get into today's topic, which is Bohemian Grove. What do you know about Bohemian Grove?
First of all, we have to thank Alex Jones for introducing me to the Bohemian Grove. I'm sure he is the one that really helped propel the idea of an elite gathering in a secret grove where many of our lives are probably being manipulated, as they say. I don't know.
We don't know.
According to Alex Jones and now others, this looks like a place where elites gather and go over the direction of the world, the way that the world should go.
Well, these are the facts that we do know. I think you brought up a couple things. It is a real place.
Yeah.
People go there, and you and I aren't invited, and the minutes aren't public. That much is guaranteed. What we're presenting today, Jason, of course, Jason and I, what we've done is we scoured the internet and we brought up conspiracy theories. I hate that term conspiracy theory, but we all know it when we say it. But the 10 best topics or conspiracy theories that point in the direction that something maybe nefarious, but not everything is being told about the Bohemian Grove. So we're discussing 10, if not the top 10 topics that are Bohemian Grove conspiracy theory themed topics. Now there's probably more and maybe there's less. Now again, doesn't mean Jason and I subscribe to every single one of these, but we're going to talk about them just briefly on each one and why it entered the list is what we're saying. And like Jason said, Alex Jones you say what you want about him, and I know he's got a very controversial presence in social media or just in public, but he truly did early 2000s, I think it was, Jay, was it not?
Yeah.
Or late 90s?
Yeah, it was quite a long time ago.
He actually truly broke in and filmed. This is where it's not fake news. Like, he wasn't invited and he filmed the ceremony. It's very odd. Again, that much is true. There was a ceremony. There are ceremonies that are performed at this thing. And if you go in just watching this cold, and I don't think everyone has seen this video, go on YouTube, just Google Bohemian Grove, Alex Jones. It's the first and only video that'll come up. And you can watch the whole hour and a half. But at the very end, we'll show a couple clips. I've got a couple clips ready of this. Essentially, this. Now, they'll tell you it's just a play. But I'm telling you, if this is a play shown at my school, I might leave in a fit of fright. It's not for the faint of heart.
Just because we bring up Alex Jones' name, it doesn't take away the validity of this experience that is going on and has been going on, regardless of what you think or how you feel about him.
That's right. So, I mean, the video itself doesn't matter. The video's real. They didn't perform the play for Alex Jones to get popular from it. This was happening whether Alex was there or not. This was an event that was filmed by Alex Jones.
Mm-hmm.
The things that we're going to bring up today, I think everything we're bringing up is more or less factual in the sense that these things exist, but what it means, I guess, is up to the listener to decide what it means. We'll show the video a little bit later, and I don't have quite things queued up, Jay, regarding the video, but there are little. I do have one. Actually, why don't we show this one little short? Now I'm going to show Jason, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you guys will see the short that a creator made. Sorry, I don't have who did it. I think they're another podcast. In the video, they're wearing costumes. So I don't know if it was Halloween or what. So ignore I don't know what the context of the costumes are, but what they have to say about Bohemian Grove is pretty interesting. They themselves are actually talking about another YouTube creator who actually entered and snuck into the Grove.
Yes, I think there's a more recent person that
did that, it's right? Like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And I watched a bit of their video too. They actually do a good job in this 1 minute, just kind of summarizing the key things. But the guy who filmed it got a whole hour and a half of footage. And it's legit. But this is a good little to the point.
There's this YouTuber, Dancer1, and he snuck into the Bohemian Grove. And it's really creepy. He went crazy far with it. He went into some of the buildings and it had this creepy looking weird clown demon goblin.
Oh, weird.
There's a iron bowl with 2 owls on each side of it in front of the giant owl statue.
Scary.
And then the pit where they light the fire and do the mock sacrifice. The owl is also made out of plaster or something.
Really?
The owl statue, yeah, because he knocked on it, was hollow. And you can go behind it and go up inside the owl.
No way.
Yeah, there's stairs.
But what was really creepy is a couple times throughout the video, you heard what sounded like humans doing owl noises.
No thanks. What a little adventurer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting footage. Again, it's called just Dancer. I don't know why they called it Dancer One. I think the YouTube is just called Dancer. So again, Bohemian Grove Dancer, that'll come up in your searches, and you can see the whole hour and a half or so footage that he did. Incredible footage. He got in there, and there was another YouTuber that did it after him, but he got caught. It was not a very good job. He got caught and chased off the property. So yeah, I mean, when there's nobody there, I guess it's almost like you're just seeing the props, so to speak. So it's pretty creepy and interesting at the very least, but because there's nobody there, to me personally, it's what they're talking about that I want to be a part of. Sneaking into the Grove is legit. So the Grove is real. The props are real. The theatrical stuff is real. But obviously what everyone really wants to know is, how do I get the meaty minutes of this stuff?
Do we know that there's actual minutes?
Sorry, I'm speculating just because they are talking about something. There's no way. I don't know. Obviously the cell phone, they must have cell phone scanners there and all this stuff. I suspect everyone is empty. I don't know. I don't know who's in charge. Yeah, that much I actually don't know. Who's the boss? I don't know. So Bohemian Grove is a private 2,700 acre campground in Monte Rio, California. It's owned by the Bohemian Club, a private gentleman's club established in 1878. Each year in mid-July, it hosts a 2-week encampment of some of the most prominent men in the world, including U.S. presidents, business leaders, and artists. The retreat is known for its secrecy and the, quote, Cremation of Care ritual, which involves the symbolic burning of an effigy of Care before a large owl statue, the one that was mentioned in the video, made out of plaster. Activities include theatrical performances, informal lectures, and leisure activities, all conducted away from public scrutiny. Now, there have been leaks regarding what happens at Bohemian Grove that the organizers likely wished had been made public. Notably, Alex Jones infiltrated Bohemian Grove in 2000 and filmed the play Cremation of Care ceremony, which he claims involves occult rituals. This footage was released in his documentary, Dark Secrets Inside Bohemian Grove, which portrayed the event in a sinister light. It's all for show, we get it, but again, the footage is real. Additionally, other journalists and individuals have managed to infiltrate the Grove and report on the secret activities, adding to the public's knowledge and often sensational portrayal of the events that transpire there. And these leaks have fueled public curiosity and concern regarding the secretive nature of the gatherings of Bohemian Grove. So with this information, Jason and I are going to delve a little bit deeper into each of the top theories surrounding Bohemian Grove. So I'll start with the first one, the global elites gather. So Bohemian Grove is often depicted as a secretive meeting place for the world's most influential figures, where they allegedly conspire on global policies and economic strategies, and critics argue that such gatherings lack transparency and accountability, thus fueling suspicions of a global elite shaping world events to their advantage without public scrutiny. The fact is, they do go there. The fact is, they do have meetings, and they happen to be the most influential people in the world. Would they not be talking about shaping the world, or are they just talking about what they watch on Netflix?
What's interesting is that not only are they doing it in these secret, quiet areas of, away from public scrutiny, but a lot of these things are now becoming more public and in your face. If anybody has concerns of WHO, the World Health Organization, or the WEF, the World Economic Forum, pretend that there aren't groups of people who shape our world and push it in certain directions seems a little bit naive. It wouldn't surprise me that this is going on in a grove in secret as well.
Here's some of the notable figures, and this isn't all of them, but this gives you an idea who has gone there. George H.W. Bush, David Rockefeller, Henry Kissinger, Donald Rumsfeld, Colin Powell, Ronald Reagan, Richard Nixon, Charles Schwab, Clint Eastwood even, and Walter Cronkite. That's just a list of 10 off the top of my head and quick research. These aren't small-time potatoes, so they span, of course, from the entertainment industry to world leaders. And I got to figure, Jay, they're just not talking about sports. But I don't know. We're not told. And that's what fuels it. Is it because, here's the thing, because they don't tell us, there's no transparency, what else are we supposed to think?
Okay, so if you had a bunch of guys from the Navy, you're in the Navy, and you guys all went out and had a barbecue over, a long weekend, would things about work not come up? I'm not talking about a secretive thing.
Okay,
I'm just talking about just work in general.
Well, of course, yeah, that's your common denominator.
That's the common denominator. We're world leaders. We are all experiencing global things, and that would come up in conversation. I just use the Navy as an example.
Oh, you're all
with the common denominator, or we're all Montreal Canadian fans,
right? And
you're going to have a tailgate party before the game. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, you're not talking about football, right?
No, so it wouldn't be surprising. And in fact, it would make complete sense that they're talking about world events.
Yeah.
And maybe what they have done or not done in the global sense, no pun intended, but the global sense of what everybody else is experiencing under their air quote leadership.
The fact is, these are the type of people that go there. So that's fact number one. Sometimes the simplest answer might be the right one, just that there's no way they're not talking about stuff, because you're going to leave this meeting with handshakes and promises and backslapping. There's no way that when they go out there into the quote unquote workforce in their respective fields, that they're not doing anything that they didn't talk about at the meeting. That has to be the natural. And why yearly? Maybe they just really like hanging out together, I guess, camping and fishing together.
This may be a little bit of a tangent side thing, but there was a health influencer that's become quite popular lately because he worked with Dana White from the UFC. His name is Gary Brecka. And I listened to one of his speeches just yesterday, and he talked about how he gave a presentation to Richard Branson, so he's the owner of Virgin, and a whole bunch of other people that were invited to one of his islands. He didn't say who was there, but he says, oh, they're all the top thinkers and influencers in the world. And we went to Richard Branson's island for this weekend long, and he was one of the presenters. Oh, and he also mentioned in this presentation that they were all off grid. So they all had to leave their cell phones behind. You know, this isn't Bohemian Grove, but isn't it interesting that these global thought leaders, as you know, they're always referenced, you know, we're the thought leaders of the world, and we're, you know, we have somewhat of influence around what happens day in and day out. This guy, Gary, who's just a health expert, talking about whatever his presentation is, which I'm sure is similar to everything else you might see on YouTube. But he was just kind of talking about, oh yeah, we just went to this island. You know, as first thing I thought of when they went to a private island is Jeffrey Epstein. So there's that kind of weird bragging. Oh, we went to the island, no cell phones allowed. And they're all the elite big thinkers of our time were invited to participate in this retreat. What are they talking about? Why are cell phones have to be left behind? Why can't anybody else hear the amazing things that you guys are discussing? Why is it always secret?
None of your business. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, my life is my private business as well. So,
Yeah.
you know.
It's hard. Yeah. Well, that's what we can say. They're just, it's a party we're not invited to. So be it. Yeah. It could be as simple as that. It could be as simple as that. Okay. Next one, Jay. You got that one.
So the Cremation of Care ceremony, that's the ritual where members purportedly burn an effigy of care to symbolically banish worries, is seen by some as a sinister act of elite dominance. The ceremony, performed in front of a large owl statue, is interpreted as a display of detachment from societal concerns, reinforcing the club's image as an enclave of power disconnected from the general populace. The efficacy of care symbolizes the concerns and woes that important men supposedly must bear in their daily lives. It is referred to as doll care, and is represented by a large wooden box that appears to be an open coffin containing a human body, which is actually an imitation made of black muslin wrapped around a wooden skeleton. This effigy is ceremonially cremated during the Cremation of Care. Basically, they're symbolizing the banishment of worldly cares by the club members.
That's what they do. And of course, some of the theorists out there have thought or maybe felt there was a time or still is a time where there's actually a real human in that burning vice, a wooden skeleton.
So it's funny how these people, that these elite people, leaders of the world that do visit this place, that they feel like they're carrying the burden of the whole population of the globe. And that's their responsibility to help us live less burdensome lives. And we'll take on the burden of telling you how you should live. That's our, cross to bear in life.
Right.
Yeah, we'll do this for you. Most of us just want Big Brother to leave us alone. We don't want you to take on our burdens. We want to be left alone. I don't want you to help me anymore.
No, I'm good. But what I find interesting too is the need for all this symbology and stuff. I'm sorry, this does nothing for. I'd be at this thing. I'd be like, really? Can I just go home now? This is boring. Are you really drawing strength from this? But they're all there. There's bleachers. You look at these videos. They actually have wooden bleachers for people to watch. You're in the crowd. You're watching this. Is anybody chuckling to themselves, thinking this is kind of lame or weird? Or are they all in on it? That's what I don't understand. Like, there's got to be somebody in the crowd like, this is kind of dumb. Like, this is kind of dumb. Let me just show you a little bit of video from Alex Jones, just so you get an idea of how serious they're taking this play. So that music you're hearing is coming over the loudspeakers. So this is like a production. This is a production. They got music playing. There's quite a cast of characters and costumes.
And how many people do you think is in the crowd?
Well, there's at least 100 to maybe 200 people could fit in the bleachers that I saw, the wooden bleachers they have in the natural lawn area.
O thou, thus buried across the shadowy tide, know the ancient majesty of death. Know arch enemy of beauty. Not for thee the tender tribute or the restful grave,
So he's speaking to Dull Care there. So they're kind of giving like some sort of prayer to Dull Care that they're going to burn it later. I mean, let's see if I can find the fire. Oh my gosh, light the thing already.
Dude, there's a lot.
Oh, here they go.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, that's a good screenshot of how many people are there.
Yeah, there's a good handful of people there. So let me just go back right here. See some of the burning here, folks.
Well, that music is brutal.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
Lots of people there. There's little fireworks and whatnot. People, ooh, like, okay, guys, settle down. It's like a giant.
Those are like sparklers on a birthday cake.
Yeah. Listen, they have actual soundtrack, almost like a oompa loompa doobity. Like this is weird.
Yes, this is like early Disney.
Yeah, it's like 1950s Disney. Like the villains entered the scene here. Now it looks like they're lighting the thing on fire now. The Dull Care is on fire. Oh, is that the music? Oh, so Alex is in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought he was from the tree line. I see. So he's sitting in the crowd, but he's illegally filming out of his jacket or something. That's okay.
Yeah, he infiltrated and got into the bleachers.
He's a part of the group, but he's not supposed to obviously film any of this stuff. So that's what he. Okay, got it. For all this time, I thought he was filming for the tree line. Okay. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's also oddly creepyish in a sense. I mean, the old footage, it kind of adds to it because it's kind of blurry. It's 2000 footage. It's not a digital camera. It's a film camera. Yeah, that's a little bit of the ceremony there, folks. Again, go Google it or watch our YouTube channel. I got the next one, though, Jay. This one's interesting. The Manhattan Project. So allegations suggest that crucial discussions for the Manhattan Project, which led to the development of the atomic bomb, took place here at Bohemian Grove. This claim underscores the Grove's role in global military strategies and the secretive nature of such high-stakes deliberations, further mystifying the club's activities.
There's these weird ceremonies, but I mean, that's not what they're doing the whole time. They're not doing ceremonies the whole time. There'll be other meetings throughout the weekend, or it's a 2-week retreat. So the ceremonies may seem occultish, obviously very boring, and kind of, what would the word be, like the production value's very poor.
You think the World Elite would have a better budget, but oh well.
It's the meetings, the quiet meetings.
Yeah.
You know, in the outbuildings or whatever that surrounds the campgrounds. I mean, that's where the real stuff happens. That's the real conversations.
And that's a claim, I believe.
Yeah. Like I said before, I mean, if you're a bunch of Montreal Canadians or LA Laker fans getting together at a dinner or tailgate party, you're talking hockey, you're talking baseball, you're talking whatever is the common denominator of the group.
All right, Jay.
It just makes sense.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Yeah. So some theorists assert that the owl statue at the Grove represents Moloch, an ancient deity associated with child sacrifice, suggesting that modern rituals at the Grove have dark pagan undertones. This theory plays in a broader narrative of elite societies engaging in occult practices. Moloch is a deity associated with child sacrifices in ancient cultures, particularly among Canaanites. The name Moloch is derived from the Hebrew word melech, which means king. The deity is often depicted with a bull's head, and sacrifices to Moloch were believed to be made by burning children in a furnace set inside the belly of a bronze statue representing the god. The cult of Moloch, or Molech, is said to have involved boiling children alive in the bowels of a big bronze statue with the body of a man and the head of a bull, according to some interpretations of biblical and historical texts. Over time, the figure of Moloch has transcended in its ancient origins to become a symbol in literature and modern culture for an entity or system that demands a high, often morally reprehensible sacrifice. Moloch has been portrayed in various works of literature and film, reflecting the enduring legacy of this figure as a representation of ultimate evil and the corruption of innocence.
All right, so either it's an owl or it's Moloch. I mean, that's what you have to decide for yourself, I guess. I mean, was it an owl or
A bull or
with the bull's head. So maybe it has an owl's body with a bull's head, maybe is what it is. Okay. All the same. So whether it might be an animal or a mutated sort of looking animal, regardless, bull, owl, bull, whatever. Or it's Moloch. I guess the description of Moloch in the Bible is what this thing looks like. That's the connection. If there isn't anything occult about the statue, the owl statue with the bull's head, why make it then? Why make it that? Why make it look like the thing that's described in the Bible that does the things that they say that thing did in the Bible? That's again, that's from Leviticus, is what I found in my research there, that in Leviticus, this is what those pagans did, is they would sacrifice children to the belly of this statue.
Yeah, whether it's Moloch or in the Bible, we know that child sacrifices have occurred.
Right, but get what I'm saying? So if you were told,
Yeah.
if you were told, hey, Jay, we need you to build something for the play if you don't mind. Oh, sure, what you got? Well, we're thinking,
Moloch.
we kind of went with the horse, we went with the unicorn, we went with, a majestic lion, but we're thinking an owl body with a bull head. Oh, well, that's just like the Moloch character. I know, it's irrelevant, but just, you see what I'm saying? Why pick the thing that looks like the thing if it's not the thing? Like, it's either one or the other. That's where I don't understand what they're doing with this stuff. Why make it look like the thing that is the thing if it's not the thing? I don't know.
Have they ever said no?
We don't know. They don't tell us anything. That's the problem.
Talk about it. They don't talk about it. And, not that they're using children, but maybe it's earlier versions of this they did. Who knows? I mean, how long has this been going on for?
I highly doubt they're throwing little babies into their.
No, I'm not saying
there's people there, but the idea again, it's the whole imagery of it. Why make it that? Why make it that? Like, why can't it just be a rainbow unicorn? Why does it have to be a?
I guess the point being is child sacrifices have occurred throughout the history of time. That is not controversial to say. To the rain gods or the crops needed, whatever.
Of course.
And
human sacrifices.
Human sacrifices have happened. Children are the easiest to sacrifice because they're the most easily
put up a fight.
Controlled.
Yeah.
So then you have a mock sacrifice. Why would you want to mock sacrificing people?
I don't know. What
a weird thing to pretend. Not that it's happening, but to pretend. It's like, I don't want to pretend sacrificing people.
Well, that's the wooden skeleton. Again, the wooden skeleton wrapped in muslin, by the way, is just another word for woolen cloth. Yeah. All right, look at you, smart guy. I had to Google that myself.
Based on the context of the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know. I've never heard of muslin before, but
it's a special cloth that can be used in a variety of different ways.
Including
wrapping skeletons. Yeah, I guess wrapping bodies in, I guess.
Maybe it's like a mummy cloth.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. There are claims, Jason, that secretive psychological experiments akin to the CIA's MKUltra project are conducted at the Grove, aimed at developing methods to control the masses. While evidence is scant, the theory feeds into larger concerns about the misuse of power by elite groups. The CIA's MKUltra was a covert research program initiated in 1953 aimed at developing techniques for mind control and interrogation. It involved the illegal use of psychoactive drugs like LSD, along with other methods such as electric shocks and sensory deprivation on unwitting subjects to manipulate mental states and alter brain functions. The project was conducted in extreme secrecy across various institutions, including universities and hospitals. MKUltra was exposed in the 1970s, leading to public outrage, rightfully so, and congressional investigations. Despite attempts to destroy relevant documents, some information has survived, revealing the extent and nature of the experiments. So again, that is the explanation of MKUltra, but essentially they feel like this was also carried out there. And I wonder if some of the party guests, so to speak, hey, your plus one might have been a victim of the MKUltra project held at the event, the 2-week event.
Or even some of the other people had no idea that they were being exposed to an MKUltra experiment.
Maybe the ceremony is part of it.
Whether they're using drugs or whatever, you're definitely buying into the whole pageantry of the experience. I mean, you're being manipulated to think that this is something unique and special. Oh, I'm a select few. I'm one of the better people in the whole world. I've been invited to participate in this thing, and that's a whole mind manipulation.
Do you remember those early? I think we've been to a couple, and I was like, oh boy, I don't like this multi-level marketing type gathering get-togethers they do, and people in the crowd are cheering and clapping, and the CEO comes up and says, "You can do it too," and everyone's like, "Yeah."
Even a Tony Robbins
Yeah. Am I insane for not jumping on board with this? Like, I kind of see through I don't know. I get uncomfortable in those situations. I don't like when people start cheering for these. It almost seems
But we experience this sports
Sure.
tribalism. We're
mob
all
mentality is what they
cheering
call it. They call
on.
it,
You know, or you go to a concert. People buy into, I'm at a
spiritual experience
whatever.
almost, right? It could be good and bad, but it's used for manipulation.
And it could be manipulation of, at a concert, your emotions are being hijacked to enjoy that experience. It's not really a bad thing.
No, it's not bad, and it's not evil, but it's real. There's a party that's the best night I ever had, but then it goes away, and it's interesting how this is all fascinating. This is kind of deep regarding MK, but that's how it works. That whole idea of.
But you add drugs to the experience, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we've talked about mind control and other. There's a couple other podcasts that we have done where people thought that they put that thing on the helmet on the head.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
right. I forget exactly
right.
They thought that they were drunk or whatever, but they really weren't.
That's right.
Anyway, so like you can be manipulated. You can. I'm being hypnotized. I allow myself to be wrapped up. You allow your inhibitions to drop. You think you're part of a special elite group of people, and you go with that idea. This isn't just Bohemian Grove. I mean, this is all part of a human experience. Some of it can be for the good. Some of it can be just for an experience sake. Like it's not good or bad. It's just life. And then some could be obviously a negative thing, especially if it's been done to you and you don't know it, like MK Ultra, where they're giving people LSD and they don't know that they are. Like that's
those poor humans. I feel so bad. These are just people who didn't know they were part of it. Like it bothers me. They're unwilling participants. It's one thing, I guess, if you volunteered to be a part of it, but a lot of these people didn't know they were on LSD. They didn't even know, Jay. That's bad. That's bad. Bill Cosby bad. You're not supposed to give drugs to people, not tell them. Like that's what the government did for real.
But these are, let's say other experiences. Waco, Texas. The people that drank the Kool-Aid. All these things I can't remember all the names, but the guy Jonestown, right? They're drinking the Kool-Aid. Scary. When that comment.
Have you heard the video recording, the audio recording of that?
No.
Oof.
Someone recorded it?
It was on tape. Yeah.
Video or just audio?
I think it's just audio. Yeah, you can Google that stuff, guys. It's hard to get through.
Well, I won't do that. People being wrapped up in an emotional experience is not new.
So, Jay, you've got the next one here.
Some of the theories link members of Bohemian Grove to the planning and execution of high-profile assassinations, including that of President John F. Kennedy. The theory suggests a large plot to maintain political control, though it remains speculative and unsupported by concrete evidence.
Well, I mean, if you're going to do it, if you're going to plan it, this is the place. Right? No cell phones, no recording devices, whispers in ears. If you're going to plan the assassination on somebody like JFK, I'll say this about JFK. If you truly believe Lee Harvey Oswald was the lone gunman, bless your heart. Bless your naive heart.
Like, so innocent.
It must be so nice being that innocent. Oh, how convenient. The one guy who killed him got killed by Jack Ruby. Oh, how convenient. Then Jack Ruby got killed.
I know.
What are the odds?
It's like the two whistleblowers for Boeing right now both committed suicide in about a month or two apart.
It's very heartbreaking to blow the lid off your company. So they had no choice but to kill themselves. It's crazy, Jay. It's right there under our nose. We don't even do anything. We just go about our day. Yeah, Boeing kills people. We're all supposed to believe it's suicide. That's the narrative. We're supposed to believe it. I don't get it.
Why are all these people, they're always committing suicide?
I don't know. Like if I expose something about the military, and I mean, I guess there's the burden, I guess, where you feel fearful and you feel betrayed, I guess. I don't know. Like I'm not trying to undermine people's mental health, but it's just like, I don't know. But it's odd that they reveal what they reveal, and then all of a sudden they're like, now I've got to kill myself. I don't want to see if what I've done will benefit anybody. I just, throw at the wall and off myself, and good luck to everybody. Yeah, who knows? Maybe that's what they did. Again, maybe that's exactly what happened. Maybe that's the narrative is true. They whistle blew and they off themselves. Okay, that could very well be. But sometimes it just, again, like back to Lee Harvey Oswald.
It's Occam's razor, right?
Witnesses saying they had gunfire from other areas. Like there was gunfire all over the place. It was like 6 or 7 shooters apparently, but whatever.
Including now the person in the driving the car.
Yeah, I know.
I've seen that.
I will say this though about the JFK, the movie, which directed by Oliver Stone. I saw it in the theaters when I was a teenager when it came out. And that was I think that one of the first things that got me down the rabbit hole of just like I think it was the first time in my life, I would say, honestly, where it didn't even occur to me, Jason, see, that the government is lying to the people. I naively used to think, I'm a young teen. I'm not experienced in the world.
Right.
The government takes care of us, healthcare and education. Why would they want to hurt us? Why would they why would they? And it wasn't until that movie when it didn't even dawn on me at that angle. It blew my mind. Excuse the pun.
Wow. You think it blew your mind?
So it really did, though, in that it never considered it. And after watching that movie, whether you believe it or not, I was like, there's too much quote unquote evidence to think, I don't know, like, I don't think we're being told everything. And then I don't want to get into like 9/11 or the moon landing. I'm not trying to get it, but all I'm saying is, I don't know if we're always, I don't know. It doesn't.
Like I said earlier, I don't want Big Brother's help anymore in my life.
Yeah.
Help build a road, build a school, make sure the sewers are running.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, fill the potholes.
Take out the. I was just gonna say, take out the potholes.
Take out the potholes. Make sure those healthcare workers and educators are getting paid properly, and they get the supplies they need in their schools to teach a class. All that stuff, and have the right supplies for medical fields. Absolutely.
They sure seem to be negatively everywhere.
Yeah, I know. What do we know? We have to join the party to make the changes. That's what they say. You want to make the changes, you got to join the party.
Oh, I guess I need to run for office.
All right, so we got some more stuff here. Speaking of government a little bit here, Jay. Theories suggest that discussions of Bohemian Grove lead to decisions that undermine democratic processes and manipulate electoral outcomes in favor of the elite's interest. Critics argue that such gatherings allow for backroom deals that shape political landscapes without public input or oversight. Now, Grove or not, if you believe there's not handshaking, backslap, and side deals in politics, you are bless your naive heart if you believe everything is on the up and up, that when people go to the voting booth.
The way I look at some of these things, if we're talking about the Bohemian Grove and the backroom deals, it's like I look at, we'll just use the U.S. because they basically, not completely, they basically have a two-party system.
Well, yeah, that's the problem.
To me, it's like WWE wrestling. You got the bad guys and you got the good guys. But in the background, they know that they're all getting paid by the same people, which is our tax money. We'll pretend we were upset about this because they all get paid by the same.
Yeah. There's rumors too, like the Trump and everything and the Clintons. It's all fake. The feuds are fake. We're marks, as they say in the speaking of wrestling terms. We, the public, we're marks. We're buying into this. That we think it's real. We join our party and we get divisive. And instead of everyone should say enough.
Allegations of occult practices and satanic rituals being performed at the Grove, including claims of human sacrifice, have been widely debunked as sensationalism. However, these theories persist, fueled by the secretive nature of the club and its rituals. When things are secretive, people try to find a conclusion to why something would be secretive. So they come up with their own ideas. Make it open and then dispel everything. Now that people are asking for it to be open, they'll just clean up the look.
Well, that's the problem, yeah. Something like, we talk about, again, sports. We use sports as an analogy. We know what goes on in the locker rooms. We have reporters in there. Like, the guys are showering and changing. I'm just saying, but imagine if they said, after the game, no one can be in the locker rooms. Like, why? Nope, no cameras, no interviews. No one can enter the locker rooms after every game. But why? Like, what are you guys talking about? What are you guys doing? No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Automatically, we're going to be like, whoa, what are you guys doing in there? Why can't we watch? What's the secret? See, we can't help but then, like, why are you making it a big deal? Let us in.
Right.
Why can't we just see what you're doing? Okay, if they're just talking about it's boring. They're talking about world economics. Okay, guys, have fun, whatever. Or whatever it is. Like, now that you've shown us, it's like, it's kind of dumb and boring. But the fact that you've made it so secretive and no one, even the people that go, can't talk about what you're talking about, what else are we supposed to think? You can't just be saying we're talking about football. We have to assume it's something that is affecting our lives. That's why we don't know about it. That's my guess. Could be wrong. All right, next one, Jay, is kind of obvious, but I think it deserves to be said. The male-only membership of the Bohemian Club is criticized for promoting gender inequality and perpetuating patriarchal control within the highest echelons of power. This exclusivity is seen as reflective of broader societal issues of gender discrimination and equality. I'm not surprised. It's a man's club. It was actually officially a man's club that was formed in the 1800s, and it continues to be one. No women allowed, Jay. Not even Kamala Harris can go.
Is Michelle Obama allowed to go?
Might keep that in. Oh boy. Yeah, like I said, no women allowed, Jay. No women allowed.
It's obviously a carryover from the roots of that's the tradition that they're carrying over.
All right. Next one. This last one.
Activists and conspiracy theories alike accuse the Bohemian Club of engaging in environmentally destructive practices, including illegal logging within the protected redwood forest area. These accusations highlight concerns about the impact of elite gatherings on natural resources and the environment.
I find this one kind of interesting. This is a bit of, they go, who cares? It's just the environment. But what I think the reason why I find this one interesting to a degree, it just goes to show you they're almost like untouchable. They can do things that are illegal.
Sure.
Like they can do illegal logging in the protected redwood forest. And they're like, well, who's going to arrest them? Who's them? They're protected. You can't do anything.
Considering that the elites in the world sure want to dictate how we interact with our environment, global warming, climate change, whatever you want to call it. And then they go ahead and we all know how hypocritical they live, yet they want to enforce these environmental concerns on everybody else. Do as I say, not as I do.
Sure. So in conclusion, Jay, each of these theories that we brought up, while varying, of course, in credibility, they do reflect deep-seated concerns about secrecy, power, and the influence of the elite gatherings on global affairs. The lack of transparency, that's the key. It's the lack of transparency surrounding Bohemian Grove's activities that continue to fuel speculation and debate about the true nature of the events that take place within its secluded confines. So the fact is, the elite gather there, they talk, then they leave, and we don't know what they talk about. And we're not invited. Now, what we're going to say now, Jay, for the worst pick, there's two ways we can do this. We could say, it's my job to convince you that something nefarious is going on there, you know? So which piece of evidence would convince you the worst that something nefarious is going on there?
Which is the most offensive?
You could say like,
practice?
Oh, really? Like that's what they're doing there? Sure. Or yeah, like what's the weakest argument that there's something going on there, for example? So for example, I got my pick for that. It kind of goes into some other things to a degree, but if I had to prove to you that something nefarious is going on there, I think the worst piece of evidence, ironically, is the lame play, the Cremation of Care ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is weird, and it's maybe even a tad creepy out of context, because if you're just dropped there to watch this thing, you'd be like, what am I watching? It's a poorly done play. It wouldn't convince people. It just might be, well, these guys are weird. Like, sure, this is weird and creepy, but I don't think anything nefarious is going on here necessarily. Though it's interesting to some degree, and I find that Alex Jones' video is it's an interesting piece of film history that we own. This is the only piece of film that we have of the ceremony, and I suspect if it still continues, it's probably hasn't changed much over the years. It seems like a very scripted ceremony. I just say that alone to me is just, I think it's a weak piece of evidence that, for example, I do believe had people talked about the Manhattan Project, that's a great place to do it. That's what I'm getting at. Right. So that we do know the atomic bomb was made. It was made by these elite people. At the end of the day, hey, if you want to talk about it somewhere, that's probably a good place to do it. We do know the elite do meet there and they have discussions. So them burning this wooden skeleton in a woolen cloth, whatever. I don't know what that tells me. What about you?
Yeah, I think you make a very good argument. I'll go with that as well.
Oh,
it's actually embarrassing to watch.
Yeah, it almost makes it seem what they're doing there is silly compared to maybe that's the game. Maybe they make the ceremony to deflect.
I think at a time when this was all put together,
sure,
I'd like to know who wrote the whatever words. It would be interesting to see who wrote those words and the mindset of these. But to me, it's just like we're coming out of an era when this started of where
the Masons, very Masonic.
They believe in mystical, magical. They still haven't completely separated themselves from an era of mysticism.
Magical thinking was big in the 1800s.
Magical thinking. Yeah, they haven't completely separated themselves from that to just a more of a realistic approach to the way the world actually is. So that continuation of that behavior just seems weak to me to go, yes, I want to participate in this because this looks like a real thing. This ceremony has an impact in reality.
So as per Stephanie's suggestion, we're supposed to play.
Now we're going to get to some enhanced video. And we'll go play by play through some of the more occultic statements, like we shall read the sign in your burned effigy the bound body. That's exactly what the Druids actually did. They would roast cats, goats, oxen, horses, and watch the pain of how they died, and from this extract some type of mystical energy force or power, and also be able to tell the future.
Owl of Bohemia, we beseech thee, grant us thy counsel.
Upon further research.
Oh, okay, so there you go.
It does nothing to make me feel like these people are involved in anything other than just looking silly.
That's what I mean. It almost not diminished, but it almost discredits their. You guys are supposed to be the leaders of the world, and you're buying into that shenanigan of a play. That's what I mean. Did Obama go? And he must have laughed. He must have thought, oh, "Come on now, come on, Bill Clinton, come on." I can't do Bill Clinton, but he's like, "Where's the massages? Gotta go to the massage. Where's the?" Yeah. Anyways, all right. Well, there you go, folks. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that. At the end of the day, it's a fun discussion. We just want to say, for the record, Jason and I don't have any answers. We just want everyone to be happy and live in a free country with freedom for everyone. That includes just sometimes the government gets a little bit too big sometimes. I just believe in free government, or sorry, not little government, but just the idea of just, like Jason and I were saying, fix the potholes, education, laws in the land. That's all good stuff, and we need that for order. But sometimes, yeah. All right. Remember, in front of every silver lining, there's a cloud. And today, it was the Cremation of Care play ceremony.